read something to you both, and I want to get your take on this. And viewers, I really want your opinions on this. This is coming from a fairly credible source, Alan Nixon, who says that Jason Wilcott, who is now the technical director at the club, started on Monday, has informed Erik Ten Hag that he must now start to play the Manchester United's new style of football, starting in this game against Sheffield United. If Ten Hag does not deliver a possession-based style of play in the remaining weeks of the season, his future is certainly limited. Essentially, when you read the full report, saying the club, they don't want to waste any time in terms of drilling it into the players now. This is how we're going to be performing moving forward. So they want the holes in the midfield fixed. Of course, you can counter when there's a need to counter, but we want to be a possession-based team, and they want Ten Hag to start to implement that now, whether he stays or not. What the threat out to you two? Do you think that's the right approach from the new ownership to say, we're not going to waste any more time playing this nonsense way? We want to start from today of trying to maintain more possession, be better on the ball, and stop having such holes all over the pitch. What do you boys make of that story?
I did it because we actually did it with Big Sam back in his last season. They said, you got to play the West Ham way, you got to play attacking football, you're gone. And he played some of the best football I've ever seen. But we did that at the start of the season. This is near the end of the season when the player's been playing a certain way. And now with however many games to go, 4 or 5 games to go, you've now got to switch it up and try and coach them in this new style. Now, understand is if you're already feeling like, do you know what, we're kind of done with this manager anyway, but we're going to give him this little, this little carrot to maybe give him a chance, then, I can understand it, but I don't know how realistic it is expectation-wise. And I think the writing must be on the wall then for him, because I can't see him taking that well.
Who released that?
Comes from a journalist called Alan Nixon, but it's in conjunction with a number of things that Wilcott has already come in and informed the club. So I already think Wilcott's dealing with Barada and Ashworth, even though they're not officially in the jobs. Everyone that thinks they're not doing any work's crazy. They've also stated this week that they're willing to get rid of almost anybody at the club for the right price this summer. And every player that they keep and or buy will have to be able to play possession-based football. Okay. That's what we're now hearing is going to be the foundation of what we do. And I think they're starting to make an impact already. And I'm personally quite intrigued and excited by it.
I am very, listen, I'm going to twist this and look at it from a crazy. I swear to God, this is the first time, by the way, I hear about this when Terry told me. This is how I thought about it. I went and I looked at Man United fixtures. You play Sheffield, you play Burnley, and you play Crystal Palace before you play Newcastle and Arsenal. I believe this is a PR stunt from the club with agreement with Ten Hag, because you know that in the next 3 games, Manchester United will have the majority of the position, most likely, win or lose. So I think they are preparing the fans for Ten Hag managing next season. He's going to go next 3 games. This is crazy. I swear to God, it just came to my mind. Man United fans, they are giving you the carrot. Now, Man United fans, they are giving you the carrot. This guy in the next 3 games, he's going to have the majority of the position. The stats will say Man United, 60% ball position. Against Burnley, against Sheffield, and against Crystal Palace. Win or lose, but they're going to say he played the style of play. So we might give him the next year. We might give him some players next year to see what he's going to do.
Do you think the fans will fall for that, though, Mo? Because Terry will be able to say, because surely it's not just about the number, the stat of...
Do you know why they will, Dan?
Yes,
yes. You know why they will? Do you know why they will? Because Terry sits here in every show and say, by the way, I want to see the new board work. I'm not gonna judge him until they actually fail. I'm gonna trust the new guys, which is he has the right to do that. He has, like, there is no evidence for him to say these guys have failed before they actually fail. It's not like they're out before they actually fail. So they are actually, because the manager's market is so bad at the current moment, they might need to stick with Ten Hag, but they have to find a way to convince the fans, we might need to keep this guy, guys.
So I wouldn't necessarily call it PR. There's 2 things I'd throw back at this. Firstly, Burnley had 60% of the ball against us when we played them earlier on in the season. So we couldn't hold the ball against them. We did have 60-odd% of the ball against Sheffield United and and Crystal Palace, respectively, though. So you're 2/3 right. Not so much in the Burnley game as an example. But I don't think Man United fans would be hoodwinked. And I don't think this ownership are going to be silly enough to try and pull the wool over anybody's eyes this quickly. There's possession-based football, and then there is possession-based football where you look dangerous, where you look like you're... Even if the players can't... But there's a comment that came through earlier saying, imagine trying to do that with the likes of Bruno and McTominay. Yeah. And I think you can always see a manager's style that isn't coming off because the players are not good enough versus a manager's style which in itself is very, very poor. So it isn't just about us having 60% of the ball in the game. It's what we do with that ball. It's the decision-making on the ball. And the more important thing for me is the position of our players in and out of possession. Those are the things which I'm really intrigued to see if this story holds any water. Now, I hope this story is true, and I hope that we're putting out this message now to Taylor Ten Hag. Look, this is how we're going to play moving forward. Let's start it from today. This message should have been sent into the dressing room in September after we saw our midfield was non-existent in the first 3 or 4 games. The message should have come from the board. Stop playing this way. It's as simple as that. They're the ones who run the club, not the manager. Managers don't run football clubs in 2024. The technical and sporting directors do. And if KJ was posting videos or doing things on the Football Terrace platform that I didn't like and I didn't think was working, I wouldn't leave it for a year to see if it came alive. You'd look at it and go, no, this doesn't work. We are stopping this right now. And I would come out and make that executive decision. So I'm very happy to see this. I'm very aware that I'm not going to have the wall pulled over my eyes. If we play well and win our next couple of games, that isn't going to be enough for me to go, oh yeah, we've got to keep this manager. If we change our system and our style and our formation slightly in and out of possession, and we do well in these next few games, and we do well against some of the bigger teams towards the end of the season, then there is a conversation. I've been very fair all along with Ten Hag that it's the way he's got us playing football that I have a real big issue with. I do think it's easier for a complete overhaul with him and his coaching staff gone. But the only way I was going to ever personally, just on my own personal level, entertain the idea of keeping him is if he changed how we were playing, because how he currently plays isn't going to work, even if you improve the personnel across the park. We may win a few more games and lose a few less. But if you don't have a midfield, then you don't have anyone sitting in midfield positions, you're going to lose football matches. So it's got to be criticised. But I like the sound of what they're talking about at the moment. And sometimes I feel like they're in my head. Like they say things that I've just been thinking about and talking about for years. And the one comment I loved from Wilcock the other day in the media briefing was very much, we are going to be aligning all the football at the club from our youngest academy group right up to our first team. And every player profile we go out and buy and we bring in has to suit that style of play. And it just makes me emotional because I've been asking for this for a fucking decade. Maybe not using those words. I think the words we use in football have somewhat changed in the last 10 years. But I've just looked at Man United as being an absolute mess in the last. So Jim said it the other day that his words were, we can't keep jumping from manager to manager. We have to be patient. And people have misinterpreted that as always keeping Eric. No, he's saying that we need to pick a style of football as a club and stick to that irrespective of who the manager is, as opposed to going from an LVG to a Jose to an Ollie to a Ten Hag. And his words were, because you create a Frankenstein squad, and that's a real big problem for us, is that our squad is not suited to any one particular manager or any one particular style. So whoever comes in, this is why a genuine rebuild is needed, because this squad is still an amalgamation of 3 or 4 different styles and philosophies all rolled into one. And it's why we're the biggest mess in the Premier League, pound for pound. Obviously, we spend a lot of money, so we're still up near the higher end of the table when we're in an FA Cup final. But yeah, I'm personally, as a United fan, I'm really encouraged by what they're saying. But of course,
have to give them the benefit of the doubt, of course.
Yeah,
otherwise you'll start supporting the club. Like you, as a Man United fan, you'll have to believe what they say. We don't. You, as a Man United fan, you'll have to, right? You are someone who supports the club at the end, and you got what you wished for. We've been watching you for years. You wanted the owners, and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't say I believe them, but for me, if my owner comes out and say this, now we have to be patient and stuff like this, I'll be livid. If I want this manager out and this guy owner comes in, I'll be livid.
But this isn't what. So this is the thing. You can't judge us versus Inter. The same as I look at Liverpool. We're going to move on to Liverpool in a minute. But I keep hearing Liverpool fans say, "Oh, start of a new rebuild." No, you're a win now team. You've got a squad that's challenging for the Premier League. You've got a team that will be joint top of the league tonight if you win. You're not starting a new project. You're at the top of the tree.
Yeah.
Man United's scenario is different. We are broken. We have a disjointed squad,
Yes.
a backroom team that's been ruined, and we're overhauling everything. So there has to be an element of patience as we build the foundations to grow from. I get you 100%. If Inzaghi leaves this summer to manage Italy or manage whoever, and you bring a new guy in, I totally get an Inter fan saying, "Well, I ain't waiting 3 years to challenge for a title again." And in 2 to 3 years' time, as a United fan, hopefully we've built a really good squad. The style of football is down, and then you start to judge the manager based on results and is he delivering, and do I think he should stay or do I think he should go? Every club has got to look at it. You can't look at every club like in a monolithic way. You really have to judge them on their current situation. So I'm not going to believe everything they say. I'm going to take them at their word to begin with, because the new ownership have done nothing for me to damage my trust towards them. But I will judge them based on the proof that's in the pudding, if that makes sense. So,
but you want the manager out. The majority of you want the manager out. Now comes your owner and says we have to be patient. There comes your whatever the other guy is, whoever he's in the club, says that Ten Hag has to play position-based football. There's 5 games left in the league, and I'm like, I'll be looking around saying, why are you saying this today?
So again, okay. So firstly, he didn't say. This is where you misinterpret. Maybe you didn't hear what I said properly. I don't mean to be condescending.
It's all right.
Throwback. Throwback.
I'm not quitting.
When Sir Jim was talking about patience, he was talking about the complete and utter overall rebuild of the football club. He wasn't saying you have to be patient specifically with a manager that's failing. People have just put his words into that box without actually listening to the overarching interview. And I think that's what's really key here, that to create a style of football that is uniform from the top to bottom in our football club is going to take some years, because it's been missing for a decade. That is what we need to be patient with. Any Man United fan that thinks we could go and hire the best manager in the world this summer, sign 3 world-class players and challenge for the Premier League, personally, I think you're either deliberately lying so you can be angry later on down the line, or you're an idiot. No, if you believe that, you're crazy. That is what they mean by patience. It's going to take time to build a squad that is capable of going toe-to-toe with this City and Arsenal team and this Liverpool team in a title race. And I think we all agree with that. However, that doesn't mean we have to be patient next season. If we're sitting 15th and the manager they brought in is failing, we can definitely ask for him to be moved on if the style of football hasn't got better and he's losing more games than we did this season. There is a balance in saying you have to be patient. It doesn't mean patient with everything, no matter the context. That for me is my interpretation.
But then why, if it was as easy as for them to say to Ten Hag, listen, you've got to play this more attractive possession-based attacking football, and it's just easier than 10. Why hasn't he done that? What is the reason?
Why today? Why 5 games left in the season? When the manager's market is going into shit.
Hang on. The reason why it started now is the people have just started their jobs. They're just having the meetings with him. So the thing is this: do you know what the job that you started recently, Mo?
Yeah, what about it?
You know, the week before, the month before, 6 months before you started, did you start to do any work in there? Did you give any directions? Did you complete any work?
Nah.
So you can't have a go at Wilcott for this week making a demand when he's only just started this week. No one's, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gone in there this week. No, what do you mean? Oh my God!
Okay.
How can he?
I think you're missing my point and Lolis to believe your owners.
No, it's not about believing the owners.
Lolis, am I crazy, Lolis? Like,
no,
5 games left in the season. The guy was just
not
hired.
Mo, I get you think it's a publicity stunt.
Exactly.
But I think, hang on a minute. But you're not listening. It's not about, I believe my owners. I don't believe this is about keeping Ten Hag at the club. I believe this is the new ownership saying we start from today to play the way we want to move forward as a football club. Why wait until the summer to start? You can start now. There's no reason. You know, when people say, I'm going to start a diet on Monday, most of those people don't continue the diet. If you're going to start a diet, if you're going to give up smoking, if you're going to change your life, you do it there and then. You don't go, I'm going to wait a week. I'm going to wait 2 weeks. I'm going to wait 3 months. Then I'm going to fix myself. You start doing it straight away. For me, that's what we need to do. I don't believe there is a catch chance in hell that Ten Hag is our manager next year. The same reports, if you read them, have stated he's a dead man walking anyway. So it's just about the club stating that we want to move away from what we're doing now and start the new regime straight away. But
why not just sack him now? Why not just sack? Because, and this is the thing, the games that owners play. Do you know what I mean? We've got it's all PR. We can't be. We need to have a good reason to sack him. We need to have that excuse of, oh, he didn't implement how we wanted to play, so we're justified sacking him. You have the right to sack him. If you don't want him,
thank you, Lawless. So that as well is a PR stunt as well.
But it's not a PR stunt. There's a big reason why we're not sacking him, and it's a smart reason, a very smart reason. There's 2 or 3 clubs that are looking at Ten Hag that want him. I think we're better off. No one's going to come in now and change it, right? I don't think we're going to get that much better no matter what goes on. My point of view is this: if Ajax really want him, it looks like they might end up going for Potter in the end. But if a club actually wants him and comes in for him, it may stop us sacking him and paying out £10 million in comp. They may end up paying us compensation for the geezer. Chelsea did this exact same thing with Sarri. They held on from sacking Sarri. Even when it went into the summer, he stayed a bit longer than everybody thought. Because rather than paying out £18 million in comp, they got paid £10 million by Juve for him to go. So not everything is again, I'm a United fan, so I'm reading into a lot more of this. I understand the PR element. Like I've said, I'm not believing carte blanche everything that's being said. I like what's been said. The proof's going to be in the pudding for me. But I will say this now, and I'll do a little £100 bet on charity. Ten Hag is not going to be Manchester United's manager next season. Win, lose, or draw that FA Cup final.
Clip it.
No, do you accept the bet, Mo?
I don't bet. Haram. It's bet haram, Terry.
Bruv, you drink alcohol. What are you talking about?
Bet is haram. That's different.
That's more haram. Betting is more.
That's more.
Fair enough.
But wait,